First contact in the ruins. The desert wind howled through the ancient limestone corridors as Dr. Maya Chen pressed her hand against weathered hieroglyphs that shouldn't exist. 20 years of archaeology had taught her to trust her instincts, and everything about this discovery felt wrong. The markings weren't Egyptian, Sumerian, or any known ancient civilization. They seemed to pulse with a faint blue luminescence under her touch. "Control, are you seeing this?" she whispered into her comm unit, adjusting the camera mounted on her protective suit's shoulder. The 100-degree heat made the environmental controls work overtime, but she barely noticed, transfixed by the impossible symbols before her. Static crackled in her ear. "Signals breaking up, Dr. Chen. These readings are off the charts. Whatever you found, it's emitting some kind of interference." Maya traced the flowing script with her finger, noting how it seemed to respond to her presence. "These aren't just markings. They're active somehow, like circuitry, but organic." She pulled out her scanner, watching as it struggled to analyze the material. "The composition doesn't match anything in our database." A sound echoed through the corridor, something between a metallic scrape and a crystalline chime. Maya froze, years of field experience making her hyper-aware of her surroundings. The excavation site had been thoroughly mapped and secured. She was alone in this section, 5 levels below the Egyptian sands, or at least she was supposed to be. The sound came again, closer this time, accompanied by a soft blue glow around the corner ahead. Maya's hand moved to the sidearm at her hip, standard issue for remote digs after the Tehran incident, but she didn't draw it. First contact protocols were clear: observe, record, and avoid hostile actions unless directly threatened. "Control, I'm picking up movement ahead. Going to investigate." She didn't wait for their garbled response, knowing the interference would only get worse the deeper she went. As she rounded the corner, the sight before her made her breath catch. A humanoid figure lay crumpled against the wall, its silvery environmental suit torn and leaking a phosphorescent fluid. The being's helmet was cracked, revealing glimpses of iridescent scales where a human skin would be. Maya's scientific mind kicked into overdrive, cataloging details even as she moved forward to help. The entity was roughly human-sized but more slender, its suit's design suggesting an advanced technological civilization. The breathing pattern was rapid and shallow, assuming it breathed air at all. The being's head snapped up as she approached, revealing eyes like liquid gold with vertical pupils. They widened in what Maya interpreted as surprise. She raised her empty hand slowly, speaking in a calm, clear voice. "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm Dr. Maya Chen, a scientist. Let me help." The alien's response came not in words, but in a series of musical tones that seemed to resonate with the glowing hieroglyphs around them. Maya's universal translator hummed, trying to process the sounds, but it was the alien's next action that truly shocked her. It reached out with a trembling hand, not in fear or aggression, but to trace a symbol in the dust between them, a perfect replica of one of Earth's most universal mathematical constants. Maya smiled, kneeling down to draw the next few digits in sequence. Mathematics, the true universal language. The alien's shoulders relaxed slightly, and it added the next number in the sequence. Their mathematical dialogue was interrupted by a violent tremor that shook the corridor. Dust and ancient stone rained down as the structure groaned around them. The alien's golden eyes flickered with what Maya now recognized as pain and urgency. It pressed something into her hand, a crystalline device that pulsed with the same blue energy as the hieroglyphs. The translator finally caught up, converting the alien's harmonic speech into halting English. "Danger comes. Must. Protect. The key in your blood." "What danger? What's in my blood?" Maya asked, but the alien was already losing consciousness, its scales dulling to a matte gray. Another tremor rocked the ruins, stronger this time. Maya's comm crackled to life with sudden clarity. "Dr. Chen, get out now. Multiple bogies just entered atmosphere. Configurations unlike anything we've seen. They're heading straight for your position." Maya looked at the unconscious alien, then at the crystal in her hand, and made a decision that would change human history forever. She activated her suit's enhanced strength mode and carefully lifted the alien. Control, prepare the med bay and contact the UN. We're about to have some company. She glanced at the mathematical dialogue written in the dust. And tell them to bring their best xenolinguists. We're going to need them. As she carried her unexpected companion toward the surface, the hieroglyphs along the walls pulsed brighter, as if responding to their proximity. Maya couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't a chance encounter, that somehow both she and the alien had been drawn to this place for a purpose. The crystal in her pocket hummed with energy, and for a moment, mathematical equations and star charts flashed across her mind. The alien stirred slightly, its scales rippling with weak phosphorescence. "Hold on," Maya whispered, both to her new ally and to herself. "Let's hope humanity is ready for what comes next." Above, the desert sky darkened with the arrival of ships that shouldn't exist, while below, ancient machinery stirred to life in forgotten chambers, awakening to the presence of two species whose meeting had been orchestrated millennia ago. Maya Chen, who had spent her life uncovering humanity's past, was about to become instrumental in shaping its future. And it all began with a simple mathematical constant drawn in the dust of a place that defied everything she thought she knew about human history. Little did she know the true purpose of the ruins, and the reason for her unique compatibility with their technology, would challenge not just her understanding of archaeology, but of human origins itself. The invasion force above was just the beginning of a story written in the stars long before humans learned to write their own history. Trust among the stars. The makeshift medical bay hummed with unfamiliar technology as Maya watched her alien companion's vital signs fluctuate on screens that seemed to rewrite themselves every few seconds. The past 12 hours had been a blur of military personnel, government officials, and barely contained chaos as humanity struggled to respond to its first confirmed extraterrestrial contact, and the fleet of unknown vessels now holding position in high orbit. The alien scales had begun to regain their iridescent sheen, shifting through subtle colors like oil on water. Maya touched the crystal device in her pocket, which hadn't stopped humming since their escape from the ruins. Every time she held it, fragments of knowledge seemed to flash through her mind. Star charts, mathematical equations, and something that felt like memories that weren't her own. Dr. Chen. The alien's translator had been repaired and upgraded, its melodic voice now coming through with greater clarity. "We don't have much time." Maya pulled her chair closer to the medical pod. "You can call me Maya, and I still don't know your name." "Lyra," the alien responded, golden eyes fixing on her with surprising intensity. "In your closest approximation, I am. Was a scout commander for the Stellar Concordat. Was." Lyra's scales rippled with what Maya was beginning to recognize as emotion. "The ships above us are not my people. They are the Void Hunters, and they have been pursuing me across 12 star systems." She pushed herself up despite the medical equipment's protests. "What they seek is now in your possession." Maya withdrew the crystal, which pulsed brighter in proximity to Lyra. "This isn't just a data storage device, is it?" "It is a key," Lyra confirmed, "to something both magnificent and terrible. Something hidden beneath your sands long before your species learned to forge metal." Her expression shifted to what Maya interpreted as concern. "But it was not chance that brought me to you. The ruins recognized your genetic signature. You are a Starchild." The term sent an unexpected shiver down Maya's spine. "What do you mean?" Before Lyra could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Harris's voice crackled over the intercom. "Dr. Chen, get your guest mobile. They've breached our orbital defense grid." Maya helped Lyra to her feet, noting how quickly the alien adapted to Earth's gravity. "Can you run?" "Better," Lyra replied, her scales shifting to match the color of the walls. "I can hide us both." The next few minutes were a lesson in alien technology as Lyra's environmental suit, now partially repaired, extended a camouflage field around them both. They moved through the chaos of the evacuation like ghosts, military personnel rushing past without seeing them. The Void Hunters have technology that can track the key's energy signature, Lyra explained as they made their way to the vehicle bay. But they cannot track what they cannot detect. Your DNA, Maya. It resonates with the ruins' technology in a way that masks its presence. That's why I had to find one of you. One of me. Maya helped Lyra into a reinforced transport vehicle. How many others are there? Unknown. Your species was seeded millennia ago. Insurance against what we now face. Lyra's golden eyes met hers. The Void Hunters don't just want the key. They want to prevent what we discovered in those ruins from being revealed. The truth about humanity's role in the galaxy's future. Maya gummed the engine as explosions lit up the night sky. Through the windshield, she could see dark shapes descending through the clouds, ships that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The ruins, Maya said, turning the vehicle toward the desert. Everything leads back there. Yes, Lyra manipulated something in her suit, and a holographic display sprang to life between them, showing a complex network of tunnels far below the excavation site. What you found was merely the entrance. The true facility lies deeper, a library and laboratory built by the precursors themselves. The crystal in Maya's pocket grew warmer as they approached the ruins, her mind filled with new images, a vast chamber of light, machines that could rewrite the very fabric of spacetime, and a message left by beings who had ascended beyond physical form. Your people weren't just seated here as insurance, Maya realized, pieces clicking into place. Earth was chosen. We're part of something bigger, aren't we? Lyra's scales shifted to a deep blue. The precursors believed that consciousness itself was the key to transcendence. They seeded countless worlds, but Earth was special. Your species evolved not just intelligence, but something they hadn't predicted: imagination, creativity, the ability to see beyond what is to what could be. A massive explosion behind them lit up the desert night. In the rearview mirror, Maya could see the Void Hunters' ground forces deploying, twisted combinations of organic and mechanical parts that moved with predatory grace. The ruins' defenses will activate for you, Lyra said urgently. The key, combined with your genetic signature, can seal the facility. But Maya, she paused, scales rippling with conflicting colors. Once activated, the ruins will begin a process that cannot be stopped. Humanity will be forced to confront its true heritage, and every power in the galaxy will know that Earth houses precursor technology. Maya gripped the steering wheel tighter as they approached the excavation site. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew closer. Above, more dark ships descended through the atmosphere like falling stars. All my life, I've searched for the truth about human history, Maya said, her voice steady despite the fear and excitement coursing through her. I never imagined I'd end up shaping its future instead. Lyra's translator rendered something close to a laugh. The Void Hunters believed they could prevent this moment by hunting down every possible star child. Instead, they drove me right to you. Her golden eyes gleamed. Perhaps that's the final proof of what the precursors saw in humanity. Even trying to prevent your destiny only brings it closer to fruition. As they raced toward humanity's rendezvous with its cosmic heritage, Maya couldn't help but smile. The night sky above might be filled with hostile ships, but for the first time, she felt like she truly understood her place in the universe. She was no longer just an archaeologist uncovering the past. She was about to help humanity claim its place among the stars. The hidden truth. The ancient elevator platform descended smoothly into the Earth, its crystal surfaces pulsing with blue light as it responded to Maya's presence. Beside her, Lyra monitored the pursuit on her suit's holographic display while the sounds of battle echoed from above. The Void Hunters have breached the upper levels, Lyra reported, her scales shifting to darker hues. But they cannot follow us here. The facility's security protocols recognize you as authorized personnel. Maya studied the crystal key in her hand, watching patterns of light dance within its faceted surface. Because I'm a star-child. You still haven't fully explained what that means. The elevator stopped at what must have been hundreds of meters below the desert's surface. They stepped out into a vast chamber that took Maya's breath away. Crystalline spires rose like frozen waterfalls, each one housing what appeared to be streams of living data. The air itself seemed to shimmer with potential. This, Lyra gestured to their surroundings, is one of the last intact nexus points left in the galaxy. A combination of library, laboratory, and nursery. She approached one of the crystal spires, her scales resonating with its light. The precursors didn't just seed Earth with altered human DNA. They created a network of facilities like this one to guide and protect your species' development. Maya touched one of the spires, and information flooded her mind. Star maps, genetic sequences, and historical records that stretched back millions of years. They were preparing us for something. The Void Hunters destroyed most of the other nexus points. Lyra continued, moving deeper into the chamber. They believe that uplifting younger species disrupts the natural order. But they never found this facility because it was protected by its connection to human DNA. The chamber opened into an even larger space, dominated by a central column of pure energy that stretched beyond sight in both directions. Surrounding it were thousands of suspended crystalline pods, each containing what looked like a sleeping figure. Are those humans? Maya asked, approaching the nearest pod. Not exactly. Lyra's translator struggled to convey the complexity of her response. They are templates, possible futures for humanity, each one representing a different path of evolution. The precursors didn't just want to guide your development. They wanted to give you choices. Maya's scientific mind raced with the implications. All of human history, our rapid technological development, our diverse abilities, our constant drive to explore and understand. It was all by design. Not design, Lyra corrected. Potential. The precursors created the conditions, but every achievement, every discovery, every step forward was purely human. That's what makes your species unique. Given the same tools, no other species has demonstrated your capacity for creative problem-solving. A distant explosion shook dust from the ceiling. Maya checked her tablet, which showed multiple Void Hunter forces converging on their position. They're trying to drill down from multiple points. Then we don't have much time. Lyra led her to a central control interface. The key, Maya. It's time to show you why the Void Hunters are so afraid of humanity's potential. Maya inserted the crystal into a receptacle in the interface. Immediately, the entire chamber hummed with increased energy. The central column of light pulsed, and a holographic representation of the galaxy appeared around them. 60,000 years ago, Lyra explained as points of light began to illuminate across the hologram. The precursors discovered something that changed their understanding of reality itself. Consciousness, they learned, wasn't just a byproduct of evolution. It was a fundamental force of the universe, as real as gravity or electromagnetism. The hologram zoomed in on Earth, showing layers of genetic manipulation stretching back through human evolution. They began experimenting with different species, trying to create beings that could fully harness this force. The Star Children were their greatest success. Humans born with the ability to naturally interface with precursor technology. But why? Maya asked, watching the genetic history of her species unfold before her. What were they trying to achieve? Transcendence. Lyra's scales rippled with excitement. The precursors believed that consciousness could evolve beyond physical form. They ascended thousands of years ago, but they left behind these facilities to help promising species follow their path. The hologram shifted to show current events, the Void Hunter ships in orbit, their forces attempting to breach the facility. The Hunters believe such power should be earned over millions of years of natural evolution. They fear that giving younger species access to precursor knowledge will lead to chaos. Maya studied the display, noting how the facility's defenses were holding but gradually weakening. So what happens now? What does this place want from me? That's the remarkable thing about humans. Lyra said, her golden eyes fixing on Maya. "You always ask the right questions. This facility doesn't want anything from you. It offers choices." The hologram changed again, showing multiple potential futures branching out like a tree. "You can activate the facility's full capabilities, which will broadcast its existence to every spacefaring civilization in the galaxy. Earth will become a beacon of precursor knowledge, but also a target. Or you can initiate a controlled shutdown, sealing the facility's secrets until humanity discovers them naturally over the next few centuries. The choice isn't between good and evil, Maya. It's between different paths to the same destination." Another explosion, closer this time. The Void Hunters were getting through. Maya looked at the genetic templates, the streams of ancient knowledge, the literal crossroads of human destiny laid out before her. The precursors trusted humanity with this choice, she realized. Not because they knew what we would choose, but because they believed in our ability to choose wisely. Lyra's scales shifted to a color Maya hadn't seen before, something between hope and admiration. "Now you understand why I had to protect this place, why the Void Hunters can never be allowed to take this choice from humanity." Maya placed her hand on the interface, feeling the facility's power surge through her enhanced DNA. Above them, the Void Hunters prepared their final assault. The next few minutes would determine not just her fate, or even Earth's, but the very course of human evolution. The weight of history, past and future, pressed down on her shoulders. But for the first time since this all began, Maya felt not fear, but a profound sense of purpose. She was no longer just discovering humanity's past. She was about to help write its future. Battle for two worlds. The facility's warning systems erupted as the first Void Hunter breach pods punctured through the crystalline ceiling. Maya's fingers flew across the control interface, using her newfound connection to the precursor technology to activate defensive measures. Streams of energy surged through the chamber spires, creating barriers of pure force around the most critical systems. "They're not just trying to stop us now," Lyra observed, her scales darkening to combat colors. "They're trying to destroy everything." Her tentacle-like appendages emerge, crackling with defensive energy. "We cannot let them reach the central core." Maya watched as the first wave of Void Hunters descended into the chamber. They were nightmarish combinations of organic and mechanical parts, their bodies seeming to absorb light itself. But what struck her most was their eyes, utterly empty of emotion, focused only on their mission of destruction. Containment protocols failing in sectors 3 through 7. The facility's AI announced, its voice a harmonic blend that reminded Maya of Lyra's natural speech. "Genetic repository at risk. Timeline alteration imminent." Maya made her decision. "Lyra, help me get to the central column. I think I know how to end this." They moved through the chaos of battle, Lyra's combat abilities proving devastating against the first wave of hunters. Her scales shifted through patterns that seemed to confuse their targeting systems, while her energy-charged appendages tore through their armor with surgical precision. But more were coming. Always more. "Whatever you're planning," Lyra called out as she engaged 3 hunters simultaneously, "do it quickly. They're adapting to our defenses." Maya reached the central energy column, feeling its power resonating with her enhanced DNA. The genetic templates in their crystal pods pulsed in response to her presence. She placed her hands on the interface, and knowledge flooded her mind. Not just information, but understanding. "The precursors didn't just give us the ability to use their technology," she realized aloud. "They gave us the ability to improve it, to see possibilities they never imagined." Her consciousness expanded through the facility's systems. She could feel the Void Hunter's presence like dark holes in a tapestry of light. But she could also feel something else, a network of dormant connections spanning the globe, waiting to be awakened. "There are more facilities," she gasped. "Dozens of them, hidden all over Earth." This was never just about protecting knowledge. It was about preparing humanity for this exact moment. A massive explosion rocked the chamber as the hunters breached the main defensive line. Lyra fell back to Maya's position, her scales showing signs of injury, but her determination undiminished. "Maya," she said urgently, "whatever you're going to do. I'm not choosing between revealing everything and hiding it." Maya interrupted, her mind racing with possibilities. "The precursors wanted us to find a third option. That's what humanity does. We see alternatives where others see only absolutes." She began redirecting power through the facility's systems in ways its creators had never intended. The genetic templates pulsed faster, their combined energy feeding into her modifications. "The Void Hunters want to prevent us from receiving this knowledge." Maya's hands danced across the interface. "Fine. We'll give it to everyone." The chamber erupted with light as Maya's commands took effect. The central column's energy began spreading through the dormant network, activating hidden facilities across the planet. But instead of broadcasting their existence to the galaxy, she used their combined power to do something unprecedented. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked, watching in amazement as the Void Hunters suddenly froze in place. "Converting consciousness into code," Maya explained, her voice strained with concentration. "The precursors discovered consciousness was a fundamental force, remember? So I'm using these facilities to broadcast a simple message directly into the quantum substrate of local spacetime." The message was elegant in its simplicity. Peace, understanding, choice. Not imposed through force, but offered as an opportunity for growth. Maya watched as the Void Hunter's empty eyes began to fill with something new. Awareness. "Impossible." One of them spoke, its voice a grating mechanical sound. "This level of manipulation requires imagination," Maya finished. "The one thing you couldn't predict or control. Humanity's gift to the galaxy." The effect rippled outward, touching every being in range of the broadcast. Maya could feel it reaching the ships in orbit, spreading through their crews like a wave of awakening. The Void Hunters weren't being controlled or reprogrammed. They were being offered a choice for the first time in their existence. Lyra's scales shifted through colors Maya had never seen before. "You've given them consciousness of consciousness itself," she said in awe. "The ability to see beyond their programming, beyond their absolute beliefs. The precursors wanted to help species transcend," Maya said, maintaining the broadcast. "But you can't force transcendence. You can only create the conditions that make it possible, and then trust." Around them, the Void Hunters were lowering their weapons, their cybernetic components reconfiguring as their consciousness evolved. The battle was ending not through victory or defeat, but through transformation. "The Stellar Concordat will want to study this," Lyra observed. "You've done something even the precursors never attempted." Maya smiled, feeling the network of facilities humming with potential. "Tell them to send scientists, not soldiers. Earth is ready to join the galactic community, but we'll do it our way, through learning and collaboration, not conquest or submission." As the chaos of battle subsided, replaced by the first tentative attempts at communication between former enemies, Maya looked at the genetic templates surrounding them. Each one still represented a possible future for humanity, but now those futures seemed brighter, filled with possibilities that even the precursors couldn't have foreseen. "So," Lyra said, her scales settling into a peaceful iridescence, "what happens next?" Maya's hand found hers, human fingers intertwining with alien scales. "We do what humanity does best. We explore, we learn, and we imagine new ways forward. Together." Above them, the first light of dawn was breaking through the holes in the chamber's ceiling, illuminating the scene of humanity's first step into a larger universe, not through war or submission, but through the simple, powerful act of offering understanding to those who had never known it was possible. Legacy of Unity. 1 month after the Battle of the Nexus Point, Maya stood at a podium before the newly formed Terran Stellar Council, looking out over an audience that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. Humans sat alongside representatives from the Stellar Concordat, and even several former Void Hunters, their cybernetic components now reflecting the consciousness revolution that had transformed them. Lyra stood at her side, her scales shimmering with diplomatic colors as she acted as both translator and advisor. The crystal key, now understood to be far more than just a simple activation device, hung as a pendant around Maya's neck, its soft blue glow a reminder of how much had changed. The activation of Earth's precursor network wasn't just a moment of revelation. Maya began, her voice carrying across the repurposed UN chamber. It was proof of what humanity has always believed, that understanding and imagination are more powerful than force. Holographic displays showed the ongoing excavation of precursor facilities around the globe. Each site had become a center of cooperation between human scientists and alien researchers, all working to understand the full implications of Maya's consciousness broadcast. The precursors didn't choose Earth because they saw us as perfect, she continued. They chose us because they saw our potential for growth, our ability to face challenges with creativity rather than just strength. They recognized in humanity something that the galaxy desperately needed: the ability to imagine new possibilities. A former Void Hunter commander, now designated Ambassador Nexus, raised their partially organic hand. You could have used the facility's power to simply stop us, to reprogram our minds or destroy our forces. Why offer choice instead? Maya smiled, touching the crystal at her neck. Because that's not who we are. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in our technology or our genetic potential. It's in our understanding that true progress comes from cooperation, not domination. We dream not just for ourselves, but for all. The chamber's crystalline walls, a gift from the stellar Concordat, pulsed with soft light as Maya activated a series of displays. They showed the first results of human-alien collaboration. New medical treatments combining precursor genetics with human intuition, terraforming projects that used consciousness-based technology to accelerate planetary healing, and educational initiatives that taught species across the galaxy to harness their own latent potential. The Void Hunters weren't wrong to be cautious about the spread of advanced technology, Maya acknowledged. But they forgot that technology itself is neutral. It's how we choose to use it that matters. Humanity's gift to the galaxy isn't just the activation of precursor facilities. It's the demonstration that evolution doesn't have to be a solitary journey. Lyra's scales shifted to reflect her pride as she translated. Over the past month, their partnership had become a symbol of the new era of cooperation. Already, hundreds of human-alien research teams were forming, each bringing unique perspectives to the challenges facing galactic civilization. As we move forward, Maya continued, Earth will serve not as a guardian of precursor knowledge, but as a facilitator of understanding. The facilities under our care will be open to all species who wish to learn, to grow, and to contribute to our shared future. She gestured to a group of children in the audience, human and alien youth who were part of the first interspecies education program. They were already displaying remarkable abilities to communicate across consciousness barriers, their young minds naturally adapting to the new possibilities Maya's broadcast had awakened. The precursors believed that consciousness could transcend physical form, she said, nearing her conclusion. But they could not have predicted how humanity would interpret that challenge. We've shown that transcendence doesn't require leaving our physical forms behind. It requires embracing the connections between all conscious beings. The crystal at her neck pulsed brighter, responding to the emotion in her words. Throughout the chamber, similar crystals, now understood as nodes in a vast consciousness network, resonated in harmony. Earth is ready to take its place in the galactic community, Maya declared, not as rulers or subjects, but as partners in the greatest adventure any species can undertake, the exploration of consciousness itself. Ambassador Nexus stood, their cybernetic components gleaming with new purpose. The former Void Hunters support this vision. We who once sought to prevent change now understand that evolution requires both wisdom and imagination. Humanity has shown us a third path between stagnation and chaos. The chamber erupted in approval, the various species expressing their enthusiasm in ways that ranged from human applause to harmonic resonances that made the crystal walls sing. Maya felt Lyra's hand slip into hers, scales brushing against skin in what had become their personal gesture of unity. Later, as they stood on the facility's observation deck, watching the sun set over a changed Earth, Maya reflected on the whirlwind of events that had led to this moment. Ships from across the galaxy moved through the sky above, no longer a threat, but a promise of adventures to come. The precursors would be proud, Lyra said, her scales reflecting the sunset's colors. Though I doubt even they imagined their experiment would turn out quite like this. Maya touched the crystal key, feeling the pulse of the consciousness network that now spanned the galaxy. That's the thing about humanity, she smiled. We have a habit of exceeding expectations. So, Lyra's golden eyes sparkled with familiar curiosity. What do we explore next? Maya looked up at the stars, each one now representing not just a destination, but an opportunity for connection and growth. Everything, she answered. We explore everything. Above them, the first ships of the new Terran Stellar Exploration Fleet prepared for launch, their crews composed of humans and aliens working together to map not just space, but the varied boundaries of consciousness itself. It was the beginning of a new chapter not just for humanity, but for all sentient life, a future where the only limits were those of imagination itself.